Hello, my lovely people. It's your host Smart once again, and welcome back to Smart Sports Studio, where we don't just react to results, we decode what they do to the table, the confidence, and the next matchday pressure. I have to stand from my seat to break down today's updates. And today's theme is simple: late winners, derby destruction, and big clubs learning that football doesn't care about your reputation. Let's get into it, match by match, deeper, fun, and fully informative. Liverpool 1, Nottingham Forest 0. If you ever needed proof that 3 points don't ask for style points, this was it. Liverpool went to the City ground and, let's be honest, they didn't look like a team that came to entertain. They looked like a team that came to survive, then remembered in stoppage time that the goal is the big rectangle with the net. Forest actually had the better early moments. They were sharper to second balls, more aggressive in duels, and they created the kind of half chances that make the crowd believe. Liverpool's rhythm never really settled. They looked flat in build-up, and their attacking patterns didn't bite the way you expect from a team chasing the top four. And then there was that pre-match disruption. Liverpool lost Florian Wirtz in the warm-up, which forced an adjustment and clearly messed with their plan. The match drifted into that classic Forest are brave, Liverpool a frustrated pattern, and it started to feel like one of those days where Liverpool would leave with a draw and a lot of angry facial expressions. Then stoppage time turned into pure cinema. Liverpool thought they'd nicked it when Alexis McAllister scored, only for it to be ruled out after VAR flagged a handball. That moment alone can break teams, because psychologically, it's like the universe saying, not today. But Liverpool stayed in the box, stayed on the rebound, and McAllister struck again in the 97th minute to finally make it count. Now let's talk impact on the league table, because this is where the win becomes bigger than the performance. That late goal keeps Liverpool right in the top four chase. They moved on to 45 points and are now level with Chelsea and Manchester United in that battle for Champions League places. In other words, Liverpool didn't just win a match, they kept themselves alive in the race. For Forest, it's painful because they were close to a big survival point. They're still sitting just above the drop zone with 27 points, and matches like this hurt twice, once for the result and once because you felt you deserved more. The lesson for Liverpool is clear. Winning ugly is valuable, but if you keep relying on late drama, one day the drama goes the other way. The lesson for Forest is brutal but true. You can play well, but if you don't punish big teams when you're on top, they punish you late. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 1. Now this was not a derby, this was a public announcement. Arsenal walked into Tottenham's stadium and turned the North London derby into a reality check. The match had moments of tension early, but once Arsenal found rhythm, Tottenham couldn't live with them. The star of the show was Eberechi Eze. 2 goals, constant threat between the lines, and the kind of performance that makes you understand why title teams buy players like him. He doesn't just carry the ball, he carries momentum. Eze opened the scoring in the 32nd minute, but Spurs did respond. Tottenham briefly made it 1-1 through Randall Kolo Muani after a Declan Rice error, and for a minute you could feel the crowd think, we're back in it. But that was the peak for Spurs. Second half, Arsenal came out like a team that had been personally offended by the equaliser. Victor Gyökeres put Arsenal back in front with a beautiful curled finish, not a scrappy goal, a statement goal. Then Eze added his second, a simple tap-in, but the simplicity is the point. Arsenal were creating high-quality chances that made scoring look easy. Gyökeres then sealed it late with another goal, and by that stage, Spurs looked like a team trying to defend with hope instead of structure. Now table impact, because this is massive. Arsenal moved 5 points clear at the top, although City have a game in hand. This is the key detail. Arsenal aren't just winning matches, they're recovering momentum. That derby win is the kind of result that resets belief after any wobble. It boosts morale, strengthens identity, and sends a message to City: we're not blinking. For Tottenham, it's dark. They're 16th and just 4 points above relegation. Under a new manager, Igor Tudor, that debut becomes a harsh introduction. And this is what's scary. It's not just the table position, it's the lack of cohesion. Spurs didn't look like a team with a clear attacking plan or defensive stability, and when a derby exposes you like that, it hits confidence hard. Barcelona 3, Levante 0. If Arsenal's result was a statement, Barcelona's result was a response, and in a title race, response is everything. Barcelona needed to bounce back, and they did it with a controlled, professional 3-0 win over Levante. The timing was perfect because Real Madrid had slipped at Osasuna, so Barca walked into this match knowing, win and we're back on top. They started fast. Marc Bernal scored early, 4th minute, and that matters because early goals change everything. Once Barcelona go ahead, the game becomes about control. Frenkie de Jong then scored, and Fermin Lopez added the third. Barca didn't just win, they calmed the noise. The big takeaway is psychological. Barcelona are now top again, and that flips pressure back onto Madrid. When you're chasing, you play with hunger. When you're leading, you play with responsibility. Barcelona now carry the responsibility again, but they'll gladly take it because the alternative is chasing Madrid. For Levante, the loss keeps them stuck in relegation trouble. Against top teams, you can't concede early. Atalanta 2, Napoli 1. This was one of the best tactical stories of the weekend because it wasn't just about goals, it was about momentum swings. Napoli actually went ahead in the 18th minute through Sam Buchema, heading in from a free kick delivery. Napoli then had another goal ruled out for offside not long after, and that's a huge what-if moment. Because if Napoli go 2-0 up in Bergamo, the whole match shifts into Napoli's control mode. But Atalanta didn't panic. They kept pushing, and in the 61st minute, Mario Pasalic equalised with a header from a corner. That goal changed the emotional temperature. Napoli suddenly looked like they were defending a result rather than controlling the match. Then came the killer moment. Lazar Samardzic, off the bench, curled in the winner in the 81st minute. Super sub impact, perfect timing, perfect execution, and that's what Champions League chasing teams do. They win the big moments. Atalanta climb to 7th and are only 2 points behind 4th-placed Roma. Napoli stay 3rd but are now 14 points behind Inter at the top, which basically tells you their title hopes are hanging by a thread. For Napoli, this was a painful reminder that you can't let games swing emotionally in Serie A. The league punishes mood changes. AC Milan 0 Parma 1. This was one of the shocks of the day because Milan didn't lose in a dramatic shootout. They lost because of one ugly truth: finishing and sharpness. Parma took their chance through Mariano Troilo, and Milan paid the price for sluggish defending and insipid finishing. The match had that familiar pattern: big club with the ball, underdog disciplined, and then one moment breaks you. Milan are now 10 points behind Inter. That's not impossible to recover, but it's serious. When you're chasing a league leader that doesn't drop points often, you don't have room for surprise defeats at home. For Parma, this is a massive survival boost win. These are the matches that keep promoted or lower table teams alive. Steal points from a giant and use them as fuel for the next 5 games. Al Nassr 4, Al Hazem 0. Now let's switch scenes to Saudi, because Al Nassr didn't just win, they flexed. Cristiano Ronaldo scored twice as Al Nassr cruised to a 4-0 win. Kingsley Coman also scored, and Angelo added a solo stunner. The bigger story is that this win put Al Nassr back on top of the table, and it came right after noise and tension around Ronaldo's absence. This was the perfect response. Not a press conference, not an argument, just goals. Ronaldo letting the scoreboard talk. Inter Miami 0 LAFC 3. And finally MLS, where Inter Miami's opener didn't just end in defeat, it ended in headlines. LAFC beat Inter Miami 3-0, and Miami never really found control. Messi had moments, but LAFC's intensity limited Miami's ability to play their usual rhythm. When Miami tried to build, LAFC disrupted. When Miami tried to push numbers forward, LAFC punished space. And the story didn't stop at full time. There's now league review around Messi's post-match behavior involving the officials area, and that's the kind of situation Miami don't need early in the season, not because it changes the result, but because it creates noise. And noise is the enemy of momentum. Now, let's bring it back to England for the final table narrative. Arsenal strengthened the title grip, City kept the chase alive, Liverpool stayed alive for top 4, and the rest of Europe reminded us that big clubs still bleed, with United versus Everton on Monday quietly reshaping the race. So my lovely people, I want your predictions. Does Manchester United beat Everton? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like the video, subscribe, share it with that friend who only messages you when your club loses. This is Smart Sports Studio, and I'll see you in the next update.